Hi again, unlicensed thinkers. If we're going to be thinking, we of course want to be as smart as possible. So this is going to help with that, hopefully. Now remember, I'm not a doctor, so if you hurt yourself breathing, don't come to me, don't blame me. So I'm going to give you 6 reasons to breathe through your nose into your belly. And this is going to increase your happiness because, of course, whenever possible, I try to refer back to happiness because that's what we're here for, right? We want to be as happy as possible. This is also going to help you be a little bit smarter. And of course, in these 6 reasons, number 6 is my personal favorite. That's why I saved it for last. And after that, I'm also going to give a few tips on how to breathe through your nose and into your belly a little bit better. This is honestly something that I'm still working on. I'm not a pro at it, but I have come a long ways from breathing shallowly into my chest and breathing into my belly at least more often. So in the West, you know, we want to be tough, so we want to stick our chest out and we want our belly flat, and that is like the exact opposite of what you want. I mean, if you think about that, you have a rib cage in the way, right? So that rib cage is only going to expand so far. It's only going to allow you to breathe in so much. But under the rib cage where your diaphragm is, you have lots of room for your lungs to fill down into that area. And there's a couple of reasons why we're not used to that, but again, I'll get to the tips in the end. But mostly I see this in the West, and then it's trickling into the East, definitely, where people are becoming more East-centric, America-centric, whatever you want to call it. And so they're starting to take on a lot of our attributes, and they're forgetting to do a lot of the belly breathing that is the healthy way to do this. So I covered that, but number 1, which fits right into that, is ironically, when you breathe into your belly, you actually tone your abdominal muscles a lot better than when you breathe into your chest. I mean, no shit, right? Because you're not using them when you breathe into your chest. You're using completely the wrong muscles. And so you have the transverse abdominis, which goes around the belly, the midsection, basically. And that is kind of like your weight belt, or what do you call them? The garters? No, that's girdles. Wrong word there. So it wraps around and it kind of keeps all your organs in place. And it's funny because we all want to have this toned midsection, but we do exactly the wrong thing to tone it. So a lot of times people will keep their stomach sucked in and they'll keep those transverse abdominis flexed in order to pull their stomach in. But that's exactly the wrong thing to do. If you think about it, it's like if I have my arm like this and I'm working out and I'm working my arm and all I'm doing is I'm just squeezing really hard and I'm flexing right there at the very top of the muscle. And that's not going to do anything for me to be able to actually lift a weight, because that's going to train my muscle to just be in this one static position. It doesn't actually train my muscle to be useful. So what I want to do is train my muscle to work the whole range. And that's what you do when you're belly breathing, is you're flexing and relaxing that muscle all the way and letting it build and letting it be stronger, which in the long run is going to cause you to look slimmer and be in better health. But we'll actually get into that a little bit about what it does to the internal organs in a couple of steps here. But that's the big one right there, is it's taking that transverse abdominis and it's allowing it to move and allowing it to flex and allowing it to work properly like a muscle is supposed to. So number 2, it allows you to breathe deeper and easier. And I talked about this briefly before. It's hard to breathe into the chest. It's hard to do it. You can only go so far. And so when you breathe in through the nose and then into the belly, you have much better airflow because we're designed to breathe through our nose, not through our mouth. Our mouths work great for eating and talking and all that kind of stuff, but in general, we get better airflow. There's a whole system of things that happen as air flows through the nose, and it gets properly hydrated and all this kind of stuff. So all these amazing benefits of breathing through your nose. But you're breathing deeper. You're getting more oxygen. When you have decreased oxygen, you start feeling angry and anxious and just a bad mood. You're less intelligent. If you're deprived of oxygen, your brain's not getting enough of some of the fuel that it needs in order to make you intelligent. Just in general, you get more energy by getting more oxygen. And I'll cover this at the end in some of the tips, but also your nose kind of closes up if you don't use it enough. Excuse me. So number 3, it's going to stretch your lower back. So you breathe in deep, you get all that extra oxygen by breathing in through your nose, and you get that extra stretch in your midsection by breathing down into your belly. And you can feel it if you take a deep breath that way. You can feel it stretch your obliques and your lower back. And sorry, the obliques are running along the sides of the body. So it causes pain relief. It releases some of that pressure from a tight lower back, because if we're not walking right, if our posture's not correct, what happens is our lower back tightens. And so if this is the back, it's going to be kind of like this, and this will tighten, and that causes the pain. And so if we can release those muscles and you can stand up a little bit straighter, you're going to have a lot less pain. Your posture is going to be a lot better in general. All right, so number 4, this is what I was talking about, where it massages your internal organs. So if you try it right now, if you breathe in and then don't use your mouth at all. We'll cover that in a moment. But you can feel that it's actually moving your internal organs around. And this is going to help all of your organs work better. Your heart, your liver, your spleen, your stomach, everything is all going to work better. All of your intestines, everything. It's going to be better digestion, which is going to be fantastic for those of you that are like me and have a problem with acid reflux when you sleep. I personally have to wait hours after I last eat before I can go to bed, or it's just not even worth it. So if you're like that, do the belly breathing. It'll help you get the rest of that food out of there, because you have more things, you have more motion there, and that motion is going to help move things through and massage those organs and help everything work a lot better. So number 5, there's more about the motion. It's going to help move nutrients to your muscles. So all the things that the muscles need to go through the cardiovascular system, and that's how they that's the delivery system, is your veins are taking all these nutrients to the muscles. And so right now your heart is doing all of that. Your heart is pushing all of that blood. But and you're not getting a lot by breathing into your chest, again, because there's not a lot of motion there. So if you're actually moving your diaphragm and you're putting that extra motion into all of your blood, all of your muscles, all of your organs, then you're helping move those nutrients from your digestive system into your body, where they can actually be used, where they can actually help you grow. And you're taking a little bit of the stress off your heart. And speaking of growing, that's another one of the benefits, is if you are into any kind of exercise program, if you're trying to put more muscle on, if you're trying to just make muscle more lean for like long distance running and stuff, all of this is going to be a type of muscle building that's going to benefit from getting more nutrients into those muscles and into the body in general. So number 6, again, this is my favorite. The second one about happiness is it is relaxing. And that's why it's been used in meditation for years. Meditations say, breathe in through the nose, breathe out through the nose. Breathe into the belly, breathe out from the belly through the nose. So these are things that have been known for thousands of years. It's not like I just came up with this today. Lots of people knew this before I did. So it does all kinds of things. It lowers your heart rate. It lowers your blood pressure. It helps you, in meditation, you reach a more alpha state. Well, you can have a little bit closer to that alpha state all the time. You can have that lower blood pressure and that lower heart rate all the time. And so all day long, once you practice this and once you get good at it, you get this little extra dose of happiness, and you get a longer life. You're getting more oxygen, you're getting more nutrients, your organs are healthier, So you're relaxed, your blood pressure's not so high, your heart's not working as hard. I mean, all of these benefits, and all you have to do is just not worry about what the cute girl over there thinks of your belly. Which, if we go back to number one, it actually fixes that anyways and helps your belly look better. So it's hard to retrain yourself. So like I said, I was going to give some more tips here. It's really hard to retrain yourself. And I still have a hard time with it. I still really struggle with it. I find myself breathing into my chest. If I need to catch my breath, I'm like, and then I pause and I'm like, what am I doing? That's not the way you do it. And you do that, and it's like, you feel it's like it fills you up, and it's just so different. It feels so much better. And it's hard to do while talking, too. So through this, you'll see me breathing through my mouth. I wish I knew what to do about that. I'm working on it. But throughout the day, you can consciously do this. And don't get upset with yourself, because you're going to fail. We all do. And so you're going to catch yourself. You're going to, be sitting there either with your mouth open breathing, or you're going to just realize that you've been breathing into your chest and not really expanding your belly. And this is perfectly normal. I mean, we've been doing this since we practically learned how to breathe, which is really weird, learn how to breathe. But we actually do learn how to breathe from those around us, those in our family, those in our friends group. And so we have this bad way of breathing. And another thing that we do, I don't remember if I said it in number 2, I meant to, if we don't use our nose enough, we actually will lose the ability to breathe through our nose very well. And so that's one of the tips that I want to give here, is something that has helped me a lot, be able to breathe through my nose better, besides just using it and breathing through your nose, which, I mean, practice makes perfect, right? So, I'll start with the diaphragm. So one of the things that helps a lot is learning to relax, or not learning to, but getting your diaphragm to relax. And so to do that, what I recommend, and has worked for me, is to very intentionally, several times a day, breathe as deep as you can into your diaphragm. Push your belly out just as far as you can till it's almost painful to do it, because you can feel that stretch in your diaphragm and in your transverse abdominis, that muscle that wraps around your belly. And so you can feel the stretch in that. And so do that a few times a day, really push for that stretch and let that muscle stretch. Let that muscle feel what it feels like to be extended, because it's not usually extended. Usually it's just contracted. And so your diaphragm just sort of sits there while you're trying to breathe through bone in your chest. So then release it all the way. Blow all the air out until you suck in your stomach. So exhale and just push your stomach in as far as possible, like you're trying to put your belly button against your spine, right? And so do that a couple of times, a few times a day, just whenever you think about it, and that will help retrain your diaphragm. But of course, the diaphragm's probably really tight. You can feel your diaphragm here, let me come up a little bit. If you reach under your rib cage right here, and you can do it all along the rib cage, if you reach in there, you'll feel there's a tightness there. That's your diaphragm. You reach in there and you just push your fingers onto it, and it feels really horrible at first. But you get used to it. Eventually, you can actually get your fingers up underneath your rib cage. Again, I'm not a doctor. Talk to one. It works for me. I have different methods of doing exactly that, but you can feel that muscle, and you can actually kind of massage it a little bit and get it to relax a little more so that you can breathe easier. So then, we live in a world that is not always as ideal and wonderful as we would like. So another thing that we do is, you guys know I'm big on body language. And so we wrinkle our nose a lot. And you see people do this when they dislike something, when something is disgusting to them. It comes from the smell response, right? So I smell something gross, I go, ew. And so that is tightening all of this in here, everything around in here. When you do that, it pulls up here, it flexes all of this. And so all of that has an effect on what's happening inside your sinuses. So what I do for that is I stretch that, because That's one of my problems too, is it's really tight in there and I forget about it. So if I'm just driving in my car, sorry, can't hear me when I have my hand over my mouth. So I'll tell you what I'm doing first. So I'm going to pull down. I'm going to put my hand basically on my mustache. If you don't have a mustache, that's fine. I don't either, really. I just haven't shaved in a few days. And I'm going to pull down. And I like to do it from either side as well, too, so I get a little bit more direction in there. And so that looks just kind of like this. So you can see, pull it both ways, and you'll actually feel that those muscles are really tight in there. And you can do it to the side of your face, too, just kind of. I know that looks really funny. Fortunately, I'm not really trying to be pretty in this video. You do it on the other side too. And you can actually feel it loosening up everything within your sinuses and stretching those muscles out a little bit, which gives you a little bit more flexibility as you're trying to breathe through your nose. And here's the one that I'm definitely not a doctor for. Don't do this unless you have absolute confidence that you're going to be okay doing it. Talk to your doctor first. And that is called mouth taping. And I heard about this a long time ago in relation to, I was using a CPAP machine and I was having problems with the CPAP machine, and I heard that there was this thing called mouth taping, where when people go to bed at night, they just put a piece of 3M medical tape over their mouth. So you really have no option but to breathe through your nose unless you have somewhere else that you can breathe out of. Nothing's getting through your mouth. So this one, again, be careful, talk to a doctor about it, because I don't want you waking up and not waking up and all that kind of stuff. I like you guys. So, but what I do is I put a piece of tape over my mouth when I sleep a lot of times, especially if I realize that I've been having problems where I'm trying to breathe through my mouth while I'm sleeping. And you'll know that because you wake up with a sore throat from breathing through your mouth for so long and all of that, because you're not getting, like I said, the moisture from breathing through your nose properly. And so just that little piece of tape over there, and actually sleep better that way a lot of times. But again, be careful with that one, because it's not like the tape's just going to fall off if you have some kind of medical emergency. So just be careful with that one. But it does help a lot. And so that better sleep that you're going to get, the better nutrients, the more oxygen, the general health, the decreased pain, the increased happiness, the decreased negative feelings. I mean, all of these things are going to factor into you feeling a hell of a lot better throughout the day. And really, it comes down to doing one thing. You breathe in through the nose, down into the belly, out from the belly, out of the nose. And just practice it. Practice it, practice it. You're gonna fail. Don't care about that. Practice some more. Let me know how this works for you guys. Of course, I love hearing from you. And be sure to hit like and share the video.